Hi there, as a part of AgilePoint's version 10 release, we're happy to announce support for Databricks. Now, if you're not familiar with this platform, in short, it's a cloud platform that helps organizations manage large amounts of data and build AI applications. It does so by combining data engineering, analytics, and machine learning into a single environment built on top of Apache Spark. In short, it makes it easier for teams to collaborate and turn raw data into insights and into AI-powered solutions. Now, over the course of this video, we'll first show you how to connect into Databricks, and then from there, make sure you know how to use the various process activities for Databricks. So with that being said, let's get started by creating an access token for Databricks. All right, so let's get started by creating an access token. So moving into Manage, App Builder, and then Global Access Tokens. In my case, I'm going to be creating a global token, which can be reused across a number of applications with its own permission model. But as always, we can always create an app-specific token. In order to create this connection, there are some details that I'll need from my Databricks instance. So for this, I've gone into Settings, App Connections, and we'll add a new connection. So here, I can provide the application name. The redirect URL will come from my AgilePoint access token configuration screen. So for instance, let's go ahead and create a token. Search for Databricks. Okay, so here's our redirect URL. So once I've given the application a name, provided the redirect URL, I can select the scope as you're seeing here. And as a result, we're going to have the client ID and client secret automatically generated. Now in my case, I already have one, so I'm going to go ahead and click cancel. But if you're creating this for the first time, please test the connection and then save it. Okay, so moving into my Databricks application, as always, we're primarily going to be working off of our forms here, where we'll either be entering or displaying data shown from the form. But as you're seeing here, I have the Databricks activity group open, and as a result, we have 5 initial activities in this group: delete records, execute a SQL statement, insert records, query records, and update records. Okay, so we'll walk through the application here in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at the table that we'll use here in Databricks. So as you can see here, I have a table called Employee. It has 2 columns, the employee ID and the employee's name, with a set of sample records. So with our first human task, we're going to enter the details of a new employee. By that I mean their name and employee ID, and use the insert record activity to log that into Databricks. So as far as the insert record configuration is concerned, first I've selected the access token, the schema and table that I'd like to work against. And now it's a very simple mapping. Now, because our subform could be repeating, I've first mapped the parent node as well as the name and ID. So from here, we'll be showing the results and ask for an update to the user's information, which will be carried out by the update records activity. So looking at the update record activity, again, we'll select how we're connecting into Databricks, the schema and table. In this case here, we want to update a user's name, so I've mapped that accordingly. And as you're seeing here, the condition will be where the name equals the value coming from the front end. We're going to show the results here in our next form, and then we're going to query the records. So my access token connects me into Databricks, the schema and table. And the condition here is where the name equals the value coming from the form. And as you can see here, I've just mapped that to the details of my subform. So from here, we'll show the results of that query and start to clean up some of the records that we've created. Okay, so I've specified my connection, schema, and table, and as you're seeing here, the condition is where the name is equal to the value coming from my form. Okay, so for our final activity, we're going to execute a query. So as you can see here, the query will be as provided by the form. Okay, so with that being said, now that we understand the application, let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so now we're going to enter a new record into Databricks. Now, as mentioned, this can always be repeatable, but let's just go ahead and leave it at 1 for now. So we're going to add the name of Smith with the employee ID of 33. So now we have a process that's kicked off, and let's go ahead and track it. Okay, so the insert was successful, so we can go check it in Databricks. All right, so here's our newly added user. Okay, let's go ahead and work from the process monitor. Okay, so let's move over to the Update Records tab. So we're going to change Smith to Steve Smith. Okay, so that activity has completed. Okay, so let's go back into Databricks and refresh once more. Okay, there you go. Steve Smith. Okay, so that query activity has just completed. So we'll see the results now on the next form. All right, so as you can see here, we can see that Steve Smith has been queried and returned his employee ID. So now we're going to clean up the record that we've just created. Okay, so that's just completed. So we'll go back into Databricks and refresh. And as you can see here, Steve Smith has been removed. Okay, so now let's go ahead and execute a SQL query. And as you're seeing here, the query is give me all of the users from this table. Okay, and you're seeing those users here, which correlates to what we have here in Databricks. Okay, so with that, that's going to conclude the content for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this now gives you a better understanding of one, how to create an access token for Databricks, whether that's globally reusable with its own permission framework through a global access token or through an app level token, and how to use the various activities within the Databricks activity group. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.